cook some pizza for lunch for the kids. But so we're about finished with our Ecodiesel tune here. What's really cool about it is that it is based on our original tuning for the Ecodiesel. Okay, so the cool part is you can tell us what horsepower you want, and we can adjust the tune for it. Now, obviously, we'll have to get on the dyno to get the exact number. And sorry, I'm looking for the goddamn pizza thing. Oh, here it is. We'll have to get it on the dyno to get the exact number for the horsepower. But the tune that is going on this Ecodiesel to go back down to Chicago tomorrow is going to be roughly 70 horsepower. Now, at 70 horsepower, we are seeing 30 PSI up top, which is what we put on our old ones. Now, keep in mind that it is a different turbo in the new Ecodiesel. It's also a little bit bigger, okay? Now, with that being said, the tuning is based on the old tuning with adjustments for the new Ecodiesel. The internals are supposed to be a little bit lighter and things like that. So what we're doing is we basically went through, created a file, which was stage 2 only, drove it around, collected some data, and then what we did from there was we put our 70 horsepower settings on it, drove it around, collected some data, and adjusted from there. Now, what was really cool, and I don't know if cool is the right word for this, what was really cool was that the fuel settings that we used for 70 horsepower on the older Ecodiesels was too much fuel for it, which was kind of cool because we got to cut back on fuel a lot and clean up the exhaust a lot. I mean, the current file that I'm running right now has just a little bit of a mist, which is what most people want at wide open throttle, but definitely not by any means any type of lack of power. So with that being said, we are going to be offering a exchange service where I will send you a computer ready to go for your Gladiator or Ram or Wrangler. And you'll be able to throw it in. There will be a core charge, and then you send us the old one back. We will sell computers, but they're hard to get, so they're going to be a little bit on the expensive side in order to buy them, which kind of sucks at the same time. But you know, some guys want to run 2 computers in their Ecodiesels, so I mean that's kind of what we have to do, unfortunately, in order to do that. Now, with that being said, these tunes are going to make the same power as the older one, but cleaner. It just doesn't take as much fuel to get them to light the turbo, to get the vehicle off the line. It doesn't take as much fuel to get on it and have fun. I mean, it definitely surprised me how much less effort it takes the new Ecodiesel motor to make power compared to the old one. We'll get maybe some more videos of it tomorrow. If you want, you can message me. I do have videos showing the amount of exhaust coming out and things like that. I think tomorrow, my Cummins is right around 600 horse. So I think tomorrow we'll get a couple rolling videos or some dead stop videos with no boost launching next to a 600 horsepower Cummins, just to kind of give you an idea of where the Gladiator sits compared to something that's heavily modified. God, I had a lot more to say here. I don't know. I'm at the point where we're trying to find a good spot to sit this, where we're super excited about the tuning. This particular one has trans tuning, so there is going to be trans tuning available for those of you that want the trans tuning. The trans tuning, unfortunately, has to either be done in person or has to be done remotely through HP tuners. So more than likely, you're going to be required to buy HP tuners. And it's one of those things where if it's not something you want to have for a long time, we can, you buy the HP tuners, you use it, you tune it, you get the transmission tuning shifting how we want it to. And then from there, when another customer orders, they can buy the HP tuners from you and so on and so forth, and we can move it along like that. In the past, I sent my HP tuners to people And I got 3 of them out there. I don't have any of them back. Some of them I don't even know where they are anymore, unfortunately. So kind of bit the bullet on that. I do know of 2 people that have them right now. I think that we just are waiting on a couple of things to finish up before they send them back to me. So it's definitely something where the trans tuning is available. It requires a security bypass. The trans tuning is definitely super beneficial. So what we're doing right now for trans tuning is the first step is what we do on every Ecodiesel, and that is to fix the crappy downshifting. So like you're rolling up to a stoplight and it stays in 7th or 8th gear all the way until you stop. Well, the messed up thing about that is that if you are to the hell is it? If you were to come up to a green light and the light, or sorry, come up to a red light and the red light turns green right before you get to the light, and you go to take off, it has this weird clunky downshift. It's super annoying. There's no power. It feels like you have to get on it in order to take off. So that's the first thing we fix. The second thing that we're doing is we are working on firming up the shifts, putting a little bit more line pressure up top where the power is made, in order to help prevent clutch slipping issues and things like that. You know, so in the other Ecodiesel, it was 280 horse, 510 foot-pounds of torque. Now this one, once we get on the dyno, we'll be able to see it'll be north of 300 horse, which means it'll be even more torque, probably closer to 650. Closer to 550 to 600. So with that being said, you know, we want to do as much as possible to help the transmission stay reliable. Now, one of the cool things that I haven't tested yet on this one, and I might test it, is to see if our manual switch will work the same. And based on the tables, our manual switch should work the same. So if that's the case, I might even install a switch on this one before it goes back down to the owner, just to so that he can adjust it when he's off-roading and things like that. But at the end of the day, it's not a huge deal. But like I said, the manual switch is cool. I love the manual switch. I love to be able to just turn it down a little bit. Now, what we saw on this is significantly less exhaust gas temperature. Even at wide open throttle, we're 200-300 degrees less than we were on the old motor. And that by itself is a big deal, meaning they're even going to be more significantly reliable. And we're still working on things to help reduce EGTs in the Rams and the older Ecodiesels as well. I have a couple designs that we're going to get with a turbo company and kind of talk to them and see what they think of a couple designs I have, and see if they'll help work with me on creating them. And one of the big ones is to reduce drive pressure. For those of you who don't know, driveline pressure is the pressure basically essentially between the turbocharger itself and the cylinders. Now on a VGT engine, you could have anywhere near or north of 2 to 1, which is awful. You want to keep it more like 1.5 to 1, meaning if the turbo's putting out 30 psi, the most you want to see between the engine and the turbo is about 45 psi. So that's something that we're going to work on as well, so that those of you guys who are towing and using your Ecodiesels a lot can definitely really benefit from the addition of this part that we want to make. Now, with that being said, there's some cool things on the new Gen 3 Ecodiesel. One of those being that this new designed EGR they have has this really sweet downpipe. Now, this downpipe connects to the exhaust, and now once you do something with the exhaust, the downpipe goes away. But with that being said, we want to utilize that downpipe for what we're doing. So there might be a benefit for you guys with the Gen 3 Ecodiesels that you might have factory parts in your vehicle that are going to be able to be used with this setup to make it very cheap and very efficient for you to use. and to help reduce driveline pressure as well. And it's basically just there as an added safety feature, and the design of it is going to be mechanical, meaning you don't have to worry about electronics failing and things like that. I have let me see if I can put the video on the screen here. And I don't know how well this is going to do, but this is a video I took of me getting on it in the Ecodiesel, showing you the amount of smoke that it's making. So that's it. And you know, that's it at also, you know, it's 75, 80 degrees outside. The hotter it is outside, the more smoke there is, because the vehicle doesn't adapt to temperatures. Diesels don't adapt to ambient air pressure temperatures as well as gasoline engines do. And that might be something we work on changing. We can take the ambient air temperature sensor and we can make some adjustments to the tables related to it so it can adapt to hot and cold a lot faster. Those of you with diesels, with modified diesels, I'm sure know that when it's super cold outside, your truck barely smokes. And when it's hot out, it smokes a lot more. And that's the case with the Ecodiesels as well. Even with tables used to prevent that, they just don't do it fast enough. Hold on, I gotta type something real quick here. So I'm going to post this stuff on the website tonight. I know I said I was going to post it last night. I just didn't get around to it. And maybe here in a minute I'll work on it. I'm kind of busy and tied up, and I know some of you guys know that because some of you guys are waiting on files back from me. With that being said, those of you who are waiting on files from me, I had a few customers hit me up that bought stuff from MR Tuning recently, or Ecodiesel Owners of Canada, and they got a month wait. So I got customers that are messaging me super mad, like, hey, they're telling me my stuff's on back order, this and that. Look, these power gates, I get them every single week. That's the benefit of the United States, is that these come from the United States, from a warehouse in the United States. Meaning, when I ordered 8 of them Monday, today's Wednesday, here they are. So 4 or 5 of these things are going to be going out tomorrow, or however many customers ordered them. And then I'll probably end up ordering more by the end of this week. So crappy thing for the Gen 3 guys, unfortunately, these are not available yet for the Gen 3. I have a lot of Gen 3 files, so there's a possibility that I can send the files to Alien Tech, and eventually they'll have enough files that they will release the use of this, which would be super cool, because then all you need is a bypass cable. So we'll see on that. I will actually email Alien Tech today and see what we can do to help them get these for the Gen 3. Unfortunate side effect of that is it means that every other company that does tuning can use the same thing. So there's a downside to it. The benefit of it is you'd be able to go back to stock. With that being said, those of you that do computer swaps, when your computer comes in, it'll be saved under a file with your name, with all of your, basically an entire copy of your computer. So if you ever need another computer or ever need anything else, we'll have it on hand, and we can take care of you there. We keep backups of all of our files, so that way no matter what, you guys are covered. So that way you can you'll always have access to your original computer if need be. And like I said, we're going to be selling computers as well, but unfortunately, you're looking at price of tuning plus the computer, and more than likely, the computers are going to be $1,000 or more to buy the computer, which kind of sucks, but national back order 6 to 8 weeks, and I buy every single one that comes in. Like, as soon as it shows up in a junkyard, I'm usually the first one to buy it, because I need these on hand in order to keep helping customers out. Give me 1 second. I'm messaging someone back here. Sorry. So the Gladiator is going to be delivered to the customer tomorrow, which means that we will be able to, we're going to be doing it. We were going to trailer it there, but instead we decided to make the 3 or 4 hour drive in the Gladiator for fuel mileage, because we want to have comprehensive fuel mileage information available. Hold on one second. Anyway, so here's the thing. The fuel mileage in a bone stock Gen 2 Ecodiesel Ram on the highway, 70 miles an hour, can get 30 miles per gallon. There's absolutely no problem with that at all. Bone stock, 100% stock, just stage 2, stock tires, stock gears, everything. Send me your trans table before I can look. So with that being said, the Gladiator should be lighter. I'm going to check real quick here the curb weight. And sorry, I'm working on trying to get the 8-speed perfect. So one of the things that we did with the 8-speed is we made it so that it downshifts nicely. And by downshifts nicely, I mean when you're coming up to a stop slowly, it downshifts. Now the benefit of that is, like we said earlier in the video, is that it helps slow the vehicle down, and it also makes sure that you are in the appropriate gear necessary. Hold on. So that way you're always in the correct gear, and that's always the biggest benefit that we've had with our trans tuning, is we want to make sure that the transmission's always in the correct gear for the speed that you're at, so that way anytime you hit the gas it goes. One of the biggest issues that I've had with my Cummins and other diesels through the years is that it's always in too high of a gear. So when I go to hit the gas, I can't speed up worth a shit. I have to load it up with fucking fuel, and then it takes off or downshifts. Usually with Dodge related stuff, Chryslers, whatever you want to call it, it'll, instead of downshifting, half the time it'll just fucking load up on fuel. Then you look like an asshole, you blow a cloud of smoke everywhere, and you don't go anywhere. So we do a lot to prevent that kind of stuff. What we're doing right now is we're working on raising up the shift pressures just like we do in every other transmission, in order to what the fuck is it? In order to prevent clutch slipping, things like that. It allows you to hold more power. It firms up the shifts, which also helps with longevity. Now, I'm sorry if I'm stuttering and things like that. I don't mean to sound like that. So I apologize. I'm just trying to multitask here while we kind of speedball things in order to get things going. I'm trying to get a hold of a local exhaust shop that I use here and see if I can have them mimic the mimic the exhaust that I have built for the Gladiator, in order to be able to release exhaust systems for the Gladiator as well. I'll have to get my hands on a Ram in order to do the Ram yet. Hold on. I'm talking to Mario. I'm gonna fuck up his name. So Mario, if you see this video, I'm sorry. It's Mario Caminati. I believe it's either Spanish or Italian. Mario owns, I believe it's M1 Tuning. MI Tuning. It's MI Tuning. So Mario is the one who hooked us up with the dyno in Las Vegas that we used to do our original dyno tuning for the Ecodiesel. Mario has a Gen 3 Ram, and I'm just checking in with him to see if he has done any tuning on it yet, or if he's ready for tuning, because like you said, Mario has a dyno, so we might be able to have him test something out. Let's see what he says. You know, new vehicles are hard to get people to do R&D on because of how expensive they are. You know, we got lucky enough that this guy with the Gladiator, hold on, haven't touched anything yet. I was looking at line pressure tables. That we're lucky that the guy with the Gladiator, you know what's messed up is he's about the same age I am. We actually went to the same college. We both went to Universal Technical Institute at the exact same time in Glendale Heights, Illinois, and we knew almost all of the same people. There's a chance are that we probably knew each other, had no idea. We were just kind of bullshitting and found that out in person that that we literally went to college together at the exact same time at the exact same school. You know, bringing up stories and things like that. Like he was like, yeah, like I remember that. You know, so that's kind of crazy how the world works like that. You know, and we got lucky enough that that he. I shouldn't say we got lucky. We had an issue with his computer. There was a power surge and it messed his computer up. So we had to get our hands on a bunch of extra computers. The downside of that was that he had to leave his Gladiator for a few days. And what's cool is that because of that, and he wasn't even upset because he did volunteer for it. What's cool thing about that is we got to develop a ton more shit in that period of time. You know, originally it was just going to be bam, stage 2 tune, no added power, have a nice day, we'll do the power later. Instead, he's getting it back with over 70 horse. He's getting it back with the better fuel economy, with the better pedal, with literally everything. We're working on doing the fan settings right now. The Jeeps run a little bit hot, so we're trying to get the temperature down. So, you know, what he expected and what he's getting is going to be significantly better. Undershift pressure boost. So I will ask him to make some videos of the Gladiator and be 100% non-biased. It doesn't matter that we did all the research and development and built the exhaust for free. I mean, I have between buying the extra computers I have, between building the exhaust, I think I'm probably $2,000 to $2,500, if not more, into research and development on this one vehicle, which, you know, obviously eventually will pay for itself. But with that being said, I will ask him 100% to be non-biased. I've never asked anyone to lie or to cover up or to hide information. I want them to say things how they are. You know, I'm more than happy to have him say, hey, you know, I signed up for research and development. There was some sort of a power failure when we went to go write my computer, and it burned my computer, so I ended up having to wait a couple days for a new computer. I'm fine with that. We don't need to hide that up. We don't cover that information up. You know, we want people to know that we do whatever it takes to make sure the product is perfect. With that being said, we were able to determine what caused the failure, and we were able to prevent it from ever happening again. I have 2 computers on hand that I'm constantly writing new files on to check them out. One of the cool benefits is that we have figured out how to remove the IMMO, which is the immobilizer, meaning in the past, I could write a VIN on your computer, send it to you, and somehow it still doesn't match. So we would have to use alpha OBD2, we'd have to put a wiring harness, or we'd have to put it in a vehicle, change the VIN, test it, get it to work. Now with IMMO off, I'll be able to put your VIN in the computer so your VIN matches, but also turn the immobilizer off so that way when we send someone a computer, we don't ever have to worry about the computer not working. It also means that if you, for some reason, have a Gladiator or a new Ram and you want to trade it in for a newer one for some reason, that's the exact same model, you can put your emission shit back on and you could trade it in and swap computers and delete the other one. So that means the computer, and it also means that you'll be able to sell the computer to someone else if you want in the future if for some reason you crash or get rid of your vehicle. So there's definitely a lot of benefits to things like that. Hold on one second. So I will say indefinitely or definitely that we are absolutely ready to go for, see, here's the bad computer. And it isn't bad. It isn't bad at all. There is a chunk of corrupted data on it, so I have to buy another piece of equipment that'll let me fix the area that's corrupted. The area that's corrupted is a service area, which you're not, the computers, the programs I have don't write that area. So something went wrong and it completely corrupted the service area. So with that being said, this computer will still get fixed and then get sold or reused somewhere else. We are planning on having a bunch of the Gen 3 computers on hand and a bunch of the other Ecodiesel computers on hand, so that way customers that do want to save money on the older Ecodiesels can still do the PCM swaps. The PCM swaps are nice because you know that when it comes in, the computer's got your VIN on it, the computer has whatever tune you want it on it, and the computer's ready to go. You say, hey, this is what mods I have, this is how much power I want, bam, the computer's ready to go. You drop in, you go, you send me your old computer. The handhelds have gotten pretty close to that point now. So what's super cool is that where other companies, or you say us in the past, when we first released a handheld, we would get a file, and sometimes it would take 9, 10, 12 files in order to get it perfect, because it would be, the thing is each calibration ID, everything's in a different spot. So we have to find the switches, remove them, have you upload it. Okay, is the check engine light still there? Yes. Okay, let me send you a new file. And when people in the past have said that's using someone as a guinea pig, that's not what it is. We're not testing things that are going to hurt your engine. We were making sure that we are slowly removing things so that way we don't go too far and remove too much stuff like other companies do. Now it's at the point now where when you get a handheld, a lot of times you get a perfect file the first time, and what you get after that is if you want changes, we make changes. And some changes, if we've never done them before, will take a few, I hate to say tries, it's, hey, can you make my fan speed come on at 190? Okay, cool, go in, type it in, have you try it out? Oh, well, what the hell, for some reason my fan comes on at 170, which makes absolutely no sense because the fan table says 190, but there's about 40 to 50 other fan tables that can adjust it. So when it's trying things out or trying files, it's not testing all things that can hurt your vehicle or hurt your computer. It's just making sure that we get things the way you want them. You know, yes, I'll have to get them again, though. Unfortunately, I took computer out. Okay. So, fuck, where was I going with that? God damn, I don't even remember what I was talking about. Okay, so needless to say, like, a gentleman sent over his file this morning. Within 20 minutes, we had a stage 2 set up, ready to go for him. Unfortunately, he needs a stage 1 first until he saves up the money to buy the parts for the stage 2. So in that file, so here's what's crazy. So I have 2 customers send me files this morning, okay? So one ends with 3617 AI and one ends with 3617 AH. Now, what you have is 2 calibrations that are almost identical to each other, but just one was newer and one was older. Dodge made some changes, or Mopar or Chrysler, whoever you want to call it, FCA. Well, one I have stage 2 files ready for, and the other one I have stage 1 files ready for. The customers are opposite of each other. One wants stage 1, one wants stage 2. My files are opposite. So I technically have to go through and build the correct files for them. Otherwise, if the customers were opposite of each other, I would have had files sent to them in 20 minutes. Instead, it'll just be a few hours. And check that out. We're talking a few hours or a day or two, not weeks. When you order from other companies, it is you send them your file, you get a perfect file 2 weeks from now. We don't like doing that. What we like to do is we like to take a file that is a stage 1 or stage 2 only with no power or changes, and get that to you right away. So that way you can put it in your vehicle, you can tell me if there's any codes, and you can tell me if there's any other issues that show up. Then from there we build your power files. That way, during the 2 weeks, you have a perfect stage 1 or stage 2 file that you can drive on during the 2 weeks that it might take us to get you a file that's perfected to your needs. Because, we as men are very impatient. And I actually have a couple girl customers who actually are probably more impatient than us. And one of them watches my video, so I'm sure I'll get a text. Oh, she's at work now, so I probably won't get a text right now, but I'll probably get a text at like 2 in the morning saying, hey, you mentioned me in your video. But we're impatient. So when we order things, we're already impatient. We want the tracking number. We want to know, hey, when am I going to get my shit? And then when we do get it, we want to install it right away. We're like kids in a candy store. Christmas, it's like, fuck, it's Christmas and you got swimming trunks. What's the first thing you want to do? You want to go swimming in the middle of winter. That's the type of mindset that we all have. So when we buy things, when we buy things like that, or like a stuff for a truck, the first thing we want to do is put it on. You know what I mean? We want to put it on right away. You might hear some volume here, so you might have to give me a second here, and that's fine. It's just Mario's talking about some torque stuff on a transmission here. Let's see if there's volume.
And there'll be an upshift. These they'll be under the max torque limit, and there'll be an upshift in these areas right here. Where you gonna fix those areas? That issue you're having.
Yes. Hold on. So, should probably cut my kid's pizza. It's probably fucking starting to get cold here. So, like I said, we'll put it on the website a little bit later. I have, and some of you guys might be watching this, but we do have another customer with the Ram. So we're taking the Gladiator and we're taking a Ram, and I think I've announced it before. Those of you might not know, but I do work with Josh from CFT a lot. So what we are going to be doing is we're going to be taking, we're going to be taking the Gladiator. Fuck, this pizza's not even fucking cooked. Well, shit. We're going to be taking the Gladiator and the Ram, and we're going to be going down to Illinois, probably in the same couple days. And what's going to happen is Josh from CFT is going to be making... Fuck, hold on a second. All right, Josh from CFT is going to be making jigs for parts. Now, by parts, I'm pretty positive that Josh is going to be making intercoolers, intercooler kits, intercooler piping. I think he's going to be doing the oil coolers. He's going to be doing the exhaust. He's going to be doing the block-off plates. So CFT is going to be working with us for them to build all of the stuff for the new Ecodiesels, meaning that whether you choose my tuning or someone else's tuning, you'll have readily available parts in America for your Ecodiesel. Now, his stuff is going to be stainless, so it is going to be on the higher end side of things. It's usually pretty expensive, especially when the product's first release. But after a while, his prices slowly fall. You know, as he sells more of it and pays off the research and development, he lowers the prices. And, you know, we do the same thing. So, you know, the Gen 3 Ecodiesel tuning out the gate is going to be on the expensive side. And, you know, given a few months, you know, after we sell them, I don't know, somewhere between 30 and 50 of them, the prices will start to fall. And that's just because the research and development has been covered, and we no longer need to charge money to help pay off the amount of money that we spent and the time and hours that we spent developing this. There's still a long way to go in development. Like on the Gen 3, on the Gladiators, the depth gauge right now reads 0. So unfortunately, I need to figure out how to make it read a different number. We have figured out how to make the older Ecodiesels read a different number. And like I've said to people in the past, those of you who watched the other video, our switch files now moving forward are going to have not switch files, our power files, the depth gauge is going to be different for each file. Race 100, 75 for 70, 50 for 60, 25 for 40, or no, 25 for 50 and 0 for 40, basically. So that way, whatever file you load on your handheld, you can unplug the handheld, throw it in your glove box, and freaking 3 weeks from now, you might forget what file you're on. Instead of having to plug it in and, Jesus, pizza takes forever to cook. Instead of plugging it in and then checking which file you're on or re-uploading, you'll be able to look at the depth gauge and be like, bam, hey, that's what file I'm on. And that'll just be our use of the depth gauge until we can figure out how to make it into something cooler. On the Jeeps, it's on the gauge cluster. It's in the electrical side. If any of you guys that are watching have a RAM, please comment and let me know if it's a physical gauge or whether it's in the electrical side. I'd like to know. I haven't seen it in person yet. My RAM computer will be here soon. I think they're pulling it from the junkyard today, so we'll be able to do some RAM stuff here soon as well. Okay. Oh, let's see. I'm trying to remember if we had anything else that I wanted to mention about the newer Ecodiesel. I know I kind of rambled on and I started talking about the gas mileage. Oh yes, I remember. We wanted to see what the new Gladiator was going to be, the curb weight on it. Curb weight 3.0 Gladiator. So the one that we're working on is an Overland. So the Jeep Gladiator weighs 5,050 pounds. Once you take off that bullshit from underneath it, it's like 4,900 pounds, which is nice. That's light. They are 260 horsepower from the factory versus the 240 of the other Ecodiesels. And I would put the tuning right about a 70 horsepower gain that's currently on it. And obviously we'll have to check to confirm that. But with that being said, where's the other one? 260 as well. I think the other one was 240 and then put 208 to the wheels, where this one is 260 and probably puts about 220 to 225 to the wheels. So this tune, I would say, is probably going to be a little over 300 wheel horse, how it sits. But like I said, once we get on the dyno, we'll play with it a little bit more. We'll add more fuel, see if we can pick up more power. We'll take more fuel away, see if we can pick up more power. We'll play with the timing and things like that, and we'll essentially perfect it as much as we can to get the most amount of power and reliability and fuel mileage at the exact same time. I'm trying to think here. Yeah, so let's see, fuel mileage, power, drivability. I mean, even in this Gladiator, like without loading it up, without boosting it or anything, like you get on it, if you go to turn and you give it fuck 30-45% pedal, it breaks the ass end out. It's actually kind of surprised the shit out of me because you know, during testing we went to go turn around, and in my Ram normally we can get on it when we turn around and it kind of chirps maybe a little bit and it goes. And the Gladiator obviously is a lot lighter, but when we hit the throttle on it, it spun the Gladiator in a complete circle. And I've never done that in a truck or an SUV. I mean, that's a car thing. So to get on it in a truck and have it do a 360 degrees, you know, tells you how how light the ass end is or how much torque to weight it actually makes. So super ecstatic about that. Like I said, tomorrow we'll get fuel mileage results. We'll ask the owner to put together some comprehensive, non-biased videos talking about how it is for it. And the cool thing is the owner's a diesel mechanic as well. So, you know, it's not just some random person that's just going to give you just bullshit information. He's a diesel mechanic and he'll know right away if he doesn't like something or if something is beneficial to it and whatnot. And he works on everything from small diesel engines to semis. So he was definitely a good candidate for it. Trying to think what else there could easily be said. Either way, I'm impressed with it. I'm impressed with the new Gladiator. And it is something that I wanted to buy myself as well. I was trying to buy one for a little bit before I ended up buying my old Cummins back. If you're looking at buying one and you're on the fence, I definitely would buy the diesel one over the gas one. Same with the new Ram. Don't get me wrong. The Hemi is an amazing motor, but it doesn't have the power or the fuel economy that you want together. I mean, just shy of 400 horse, they got the power, but the fuel economy is not there. And if I get a chance, we'll try to line up the new Hemi with the new Ecodiesel and show you that it doesn't take much for the Ecodiesel not only to get 30 miles per gallon, but blow the Hemi out of the water as well. I mean, I've already showed with my Ecodiesel that it's not hard to beat up on the Hemis. Maybe I'll get more videos of mine doing some racing and things like that. If I have some time, we'll probably try to take it to the drag strip here soon as well. But I'm going to call it a day on this video. So sorry for those who had to listen to me rambling, but have a good day.